coexistence of the features of the socialistic and capitalistic economies, and it is a mixture of the both features of and the differences between. So now going to the seventh point, that is preservations of economy. We can so one of the most important features of the mixed economy. Okay, so at first, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Tutelage, a guide to learner. Here, this is Sriparna. Hope all of you are doing good. In my last session, we have already discussed the concept of socialistic economy and the differences between capitalistic and socialistic economies. So today we are going to explain some new concepts under this chapter. So that's why the title is the types of economies part 3. So now move on the next slide. So here we can see some concepts for today's discussion. So first one is concept of mixed economy. Second one is the differences between socialism or socialistic economies and the mixed economies, and third concept, that is different types of economies. So let's start the session and move on the main slide. So here we can see the definition of the mixed economy. So learner, at first we have to know what do you mean by a mixed economy. Okay. So now going to the definition. So mixed economy is an economy which combines the elements of the both capitalistic economies and the socialistic economies. Okay. So it is an attempt to include the base features of the both economies, the free enterprise economy or the capitalist economies, and the socialist economy, controlled socialist economy basically, while excluding the demerits or shortcomings of both. So mixed economy is the coexistence of the both private and public or government sectors. So now going to the next slide. So here we can see some features of the mixed economy. So the first one is, before going to the discussion, learner, do you know what are the examples of the mixed economies? So obviously mixed economies exist, the both features of the capitalistic and socialistic economies. So that's why it exists in most of the developed countries of the world, such as USA, UK, etc. So now going to the explanation. So first point, that is coexistence of the public and private sector. Okay, so coexistence of the public and private sector is one of the most important features of the mixed economy. Okay, so at first we have to know what is the role of the public sector. Okay, so basically public sector represents the part of the economy which is operated and managed by the state or the government. Okay, and it dominates in those fields which require a huge amount of money, huge amount of investment. So that's why the public sector operates the railways, transport, communications, telegraphs, power projects, plants, banking, finance, etc. And on the other hand, the private sector includes that part of the economy which is owned, managed, operated by the private individuals. So the private sector operates with the objective of the earning motives, earning profit. So what is the producer's objective in the capitalistic economy? We all know that in a capitalistic economy, one of the main objective, that is earning profits. Okay, so rather than the welfare of the people. So private sector dominates agricultural sector, consumers, goods, industries, retail trade, etc. So private sector basically supplements the public sector rather than the the competing with it. Okay, so now going to the second point, that is coexistence of the capitalistic and socialistic economy. We have already told that mixed economy in a mixed economy exist the features of the capitalistic and the socialistic economy. So that's why a mixed economy combines the features of both. So it is characterized by the presence of the private property, profit maximizations, competitions, price mechanism, and on the other hand, in the socialistic economies feature, so that is economic planning, government regulations, emphasis on the economic equality, etc. So it combines the features of the capitalistic and socialistic uh, economies. So now going to the third point, that is the economic planning. So economic planning is also an important of features of the mixed economy also, because economic planning is basically essential to promote economic development, to ensure the smooth and regulated systematic operation of the economy, and it helps to regulate the entire economy and to have the coordinated operations of the public and private sectors both. So now going to the fourth point, that is regulation and control of the private sector. Obviously the government plays an important part in the mixed economy by regulating the private sector. So the government regulates the private sector through the taxation, subsidies, monopoly controls, monetary and fiscal policy, etc. So it tries to regulate the private sector so as to promote the larger welfare interest of the entire economy. So now going to the next slide. So here we can see uh, some features of mixed economy. So the fifth one is promotion of the promotion of social welfare. Okay. The promotion of social welfare is a very important objective features of a mixed economy. The government makes efforts to promote the welfare of the entire community. It pursues various social security schemes to help the poor and backward classes people. Government provides educational facilities, health facilities, sanitization facilities at free of cost. So it protects the interest of the laborers through the various labor laws also. The state basically provides large level of employment opportunities to assist the workers. So it tries to minimize economic and regional inequalities. So now going to the sixth point, that is rule of price mechanism. Okay. So, in a mixed economy, price mechanism, you all know that plays an important role but not as dominant as in the capitalistic economy. So, however, the price mechanism is allowed to function subject to certain regulations through price control, to fixation of the minimum wages and other such measures. For example, prices of the essential commodities such as railways fares, electricity charges, gas prices, etc., are fixed by the government only. So now going to the seventh point, that is preservations of freedom. Okay. So a mixed economy is characterized by the economic and political freedom also. So it provides enough scope for the private initiative and enterprise. So freedom of choice of occupation exists. People are free to save and invest as they like. Consumers are free to choose the goods and services they want to consume also. In a mixed economy, people enjoy the political freedom, subject to the limits imposed by the national security. So now going to the last point, that is a profit motive. So profit motive obviously is the most important characteristics or features of mixed economy. Though the public sector is guided largely by the motive of the social welfare, the profit motive remains a guiding motive for the private sector. So profit motive and private sector go together. So however, the private sector cannot maximize profit at the cost of the social interest. So now going to the next slide, where we can discuss some merits of the mixed economic system or mixed economy. So the first point is proper allocation of the resources. Sorry, the proper allocation of resources. So proper economic planning ensures that the economic resources of the economy are fully utilized and resources are appropriately divided between public and the private sector. Okay, so now going to the second point, second merit of the mixed economy, that is economic stability. So, a mixed economy ensures economic stability because it tries to avoid ups and downs in the economy through the planning and state regulation. It eliminates overproduction and underproduction also. So, that's why economic stability is present here. So, now going to the third point, that is advantages of the market system. Clear? So, a mixed economy has all the advantages of the market system. It retains most of the institutions of the capitalist economy, such as private property, inheritance right, competition, profit motive, price mechanism, etc. So, the presence of the government in a mixed economy ensures that the adverse effect of these institutions are kept under check. So, now going to the fourth point, that is rapid economic development. So from the point of view of the developing economies, the mixed economy pattern is very significant since it ensures rapid economic development. It uses the combined resources, energies of the private and the public sector to promote economic development. So now going to the next point, that is economic and political freedom. Okay, so we have already discussed what do you mean by a political and economic freedom. So obviously a mixed economy also ensures the adequate economic freedom. So consumers are free to choose the goods and services they want to consume, and people are free to choose occupation they like. At the same time, the mixed economy allows civil and political freedom to the people also. So, in a short, a mixed economy combines the advantages of the both capitalism and the socialism. And now going to the last merit of the mixed economy, that is check on the concentration of the economic power. So mixed economy is able to keep a check on concentration of economic power. So at the same time, the inequality of the income is kept under the check by the government through the use of taxation. So the government also provides the equal economic opportunities to the people. So now move on some demerits. So now going to the next slide. So here we can see some demerits of the mixed economy. So the first demerit is the conflict between public and private sectors. So obviously it is one of the most important demerits or shortcomings of the mixed economy. So collision, bitterness, non-cooperations may take place between the private and the public sector. Okay. So now going to the second point, that is short-lived nature. So a mixed economy runs the risk of being a short lived because it may not continue for a long time. Each of the two sectors may attempt to expand at the cost of the other. So if the public sector expands to such an extent so that it is able to take over the private sector, a mixed economy may become a socialist economy. On the other hand, if the private sector proves dominant, so mixed economy may be converted into a capitalist economy. So that's why a mixed economy runs the risk of being short lived. So short lived nature is one of the most important demerit of the mixed economies. So now going to the third point, that is inefficient operation. So there is a danger of the mixed economy operating in an efficient way. The private sector may not be able to function effectively due to excessive control and regulation of the government, and the public sector may not be operating efficiently because of lack of initiatives, responsibility on the part of the bureaucrats. So inefficient operation is the one of the important demerit of mixed economy also. So now going to the fourth point, that is poor performance of the public sector. So in a mixed economy, the public sector has a record of poor performance. So the public sector suffers from inertia, inefficiency, red tapeism, etc. Now going to the last point, that is excessive regulation. So mixed economy is likely to give a rise to a system of excessive controls and regulations. So the government may like to regulate the private sector by imposing excessive controls like licensing system, monetary fiscal regulations, etc. So these excessive controls may become inconvenient. So which may promote the economic inefficiency also. So it is important to note that the most of the shortcomings or demerits of the mixed economy can be rectified if the government is efficient and has the political willingness. So now going to the next slide. So here we can see some differences between mixed economy and the socialistic economy. So the first one is, in the mixed economy, economic resources are owned by the private individuals and state. But in the socialistic economy, all economic resources, productive forces are owned by the state or the government. Now going to the third point, price or market mechanism plays an important role but not as dominant as in the capitalist economy. So we have told that already. So, but in the socialistic economy, planning takes the place of the market mechanism. All important decisions are taken by the central planning authority. So, now going to the third point, in the mixed economy, producers' objective is profit maximization with social welfare. But in the socialistic economy, producer's objective is maximization of the social welfare only. So now going to the fourth point, that is government tries to regulate the private sector to promote the larger welfare interest in the mixed economy, but in the socialistic economy it is a state regulated economy. So now going to the next slide. So here we can see another differences between mixed economy and socialistic economy. So in the mixed economy, the economic power is concentrated in the hands of the public and private sectors. So we have already told that thing. Mixed economy is the existence of the features of the socialistic and capitalistic economies, and it is a mixture of the both features of capitalism and socialism. So that's why all economic power is concentrated in the hands of the public sector or the government and the private sector also. So now going to the socialistic economy. So economic power is concentrated in the hands of the government only. So I think the concept of mixed economies and the differences between mixed economies and socialistic economy and their features, their merit and demerits, all are clear to everyone. So now going to the another concept. So that is different types of, we have different types of economies. So it's a mistake, that is economies. Okay, so not the economics. Okay. So economies can be classified as simple and complex economies. Economies may be classified as open and closed economies and agricultural and industrial economies. But today we will explain only the first one, that is simple and complex economies. So now going to the next slide where we can discuss the what do you mean by a simple economies and the complex economies. So economies can be classified as a simple economies and complex economies on the basis of the degree of specialization. So degree of specialization and division of labor. ठीक है. So now going to the definition. So what do you mean by a simple economy? So simple economy is that economy in which each individual specializes in the production of one commodity only. So in such an economy, one person weaves the cloth, the other grows the wheat, and so on. Okay, so it is a case of specialization based upon the simple division of labor, and it is the traditional economies also. And in this economies, goods and services were mostly produced for the consumption purpose. Producers specialized in making some commodity and then traded it for the other products they needed. So production process was done by the family member with the use of simple technique of production, and scalar production was very small and the productivity was very low. So in a simple economy, production process was done by the family member. Okay, keep it in mind. And scalar production and productivity was very low in the simple economy. And now going to the next one, that is complex economy. So complex economies is that type of economy in which there is a high degree of specialization, complex division of labor and mutual dependence. Simple economy is based on the simple division of labor, but complex economy is based on the complex division of labor and mutual dependence. In such a economy, a laborer does not produce a complete good. There is a specialization, because there is a high degree of specialization also. So there is a specialization within the production process of a particular good. So for example, a laborer in a textile mill either spins or weaves or dyes the cloth. So as a consequences, there is a high degree of mutual dependence also. Okay, so production process is done with the use of the hired labor. So workers do not earn their incomes by selling commodities they themselves have produced. Rather, they sell their labor services to the firms and receive money, wages in return. So production is organized and production process for scalar production was very large with the use of advanced techniques of production, and exchange is done with the use of money in the complex economy. But in the simple economy, the exchange is done with the use of commodities, and which is known as what type of economy? That is the barter economy. And the complex economies is done with the use of money, and that is the money economy. So I think this is clear to everyone. What do you mean by a simple economy and a complex economy, and what are the difference between simple economy and the complex economy? In the simple economy, production process was done by the family labor with the use of simple techniques of production, or the less advanced techniques of production, and that's why scale of production was very small. But in the complex economy, we can see there is a high degree of mutual dependence, and the production process, the whole production process was very much organized on a very large scale with the use of advanced techniques of production also. And that's why exchange is done with the use of money. So I think the concept of complex economy and the simple economy is clear to everyone. So we are done for the today's session, learners. So I will come with a new session very soon. Till then, stay tuned. Please do like, share, comment, and more. Subscribe to my channel. Happy learning. Thank you.